We are live. What is going on? Ring Kings podcast is back. Yes, look, this is a big card today, Mikey. Day of reckoning. Okay. All the heavyweights seem to be out there. The heavyweights, the heavy lightweights. Okay. And they gave us an entertaining card. Look, man, you can say what you want about those Saudis. They know how to put together the fights that get people interested.
They spend the paper, man.
They spend the paper for sure.
They wanted to put the money up.
Yeah. Listen, man, there's a whole lot to discuss here. Obviously, the main thing, Deontay Wilder did not win his fight. Didn't look good either. Okay. Just didn't look good. And it just puts the whole Wilder versus Joshua fight into question for multiple reasons, right? Although Joshua said, hey, he still be up for it, you can have an off night or whatever. But I mean, how do you make that fight now? Because Joshua looked great, right? So how does that fight happen? I mean, the Saudis can make anything happen. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like I think that's it for Wilder.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can still hype it up to happen. I mean, listen, it's the heavyweight division isn't great, so I think Wilder still has a name, a buzz. They'll find some way to sell it. Oh man, the layoff, he hasn't fought, the ring rust, all of that. They'll find a way. I don't mind. I don't mind seeing it. I think Wilder still has a puncher's chance, and that's the thing in the heavyweight division. Period. Like anybody on any given Saturday can get their ass knocked out. So I still would tune in, but yeah, obviously Wilder losing definitely hurt that and hurt it probably hurt his pocket. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Listen, you still want this fight? Hey, you have to take this, bro. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
disappointed. He just didn't look. I mean, to me, they were talking about his legs being gone later in the fight, but to me, his legs just looked a little wobbly or just kind of uncoordinated early on in the fight. So,
well, he always had the stick legs. This is my problem with Deontay Wilder. This is my problem. Wilder has probably been one of my favorite boxers over this generation of boxers, like at least the heavyweights for sure, right? Because he's entertaining. He's fearless, right? And he was one of the handful of fighters that was champions that was actively pursuing other top fighters. Always entertaining to watch, and I respected that. But he never learned how to box. He could never box. He still doesn't know how to box, and it's just like what you're seeing now is what happens to those athletes, those great athletes that when they get older, the ones that all they relied on was the athleticism and not the skill. When they get older, the athleticism obviously fades and they never develop the craft. And that's what's showing right now, because literally the only thing that he had planned was that right hand, that overhand right. He even tried to throw uppercut. Like, I'm listening to the announcers and they're like, oh yeah, he set him up for the uppercut. He never threw the uppercut, and the uppercut was there. He had that one right that he could always rely on, because when he was younger, it was nothing for him to take a punch from somebody to deliver a punch. He was a little bit quicker. His hands were a little bit faster, and he didn't have to have good form or good technique. His punch was going to land at some point during the fight, and all it took was one. Whether you went down that first punch or not, it was going to change the whole way you fought after you got hit, right? So he was just waiting for it on this fight, and Parker never let him get that punch off, and that was an easy that was an easy decision for the judges.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, I mean, everything you said is correct, right? He's never been a boxer, right? But he's gotten by off of that right hand so long. He's made a lot of money off of that right hand for a long time, and he never. It's like he never considered learning how to box until he lost to Fury,
Right.
and still, like, I mean, you just don't learn how to box at 36, 35, 36, 37 years old. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that you need to add to your game early on. And we do know, like, he got into the boxing game pretty late. He was a raw guy. He was a raw talent that could punch, and
Yeah.
it ended up working out for him. But yeah, the boxing thing for him, it's just not his thing. He to add to Jada Six's question, like I don't think he was scared. I think he felt like he that was a part of his strategy to try to box and try to jab the guy, keep him at range, but he wasn't throwing the jab enough. You know what I mean? And if he could just add a jab to his game, then that would make him that much more dangerous because he's tall, he's lanky, so he can keep the guy back and then set up that right hand. But
Yeah.
even all of these years, he's gotten by off of not being able to box but land that right hand. And tonight he let it go, but it was just slow. He was a smidge too slow with it. In the past, as his opponent tires, he catches you with it at least one good time, and that's when it's night. And he just doesn't have that right now. Again, he's had one round of boxing in the last how many years it's been. So he's had a long layoff, but yeah, he's on the back. That I ain't even gonna say back nine. He's on the back two of his career right now, and maybe he could get one more big payday with Joshua. Hey, he got a puncher's chance in that. If he can knock him out, then maybe it'll catapult him again. But yeah, that's just Wilder, and that's just the Wilder that we knew, that we know.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let me shout out to chat. Bazel, who was here first. Salute to you. Davon in the house. Salute, cousin Davon. We got B here taking the day off. What's up, V? Jada Six, who asked the question. Salute. Zeke Hokage. What's going on? Says Jose and Mike. What's good, everyone? Hey, shout out to you, Zeke. Appreciate you coming through. We got Chris White in the house. Says, teach that Negro basic footwork and high guard, turn a fighter and swing. Look, it's too late for him, man. It's too late for him. He like pointed out, he's 38 years old. And he said early on he wasn't going to change his style. So I mean, this is the frustration with Deontay Wilder, is that when he puts out fighters like Helenius, right, with that powerful shot, you're like, man, that's what Wilder does. Right? You're excited about that. And you say, well, you don't have to change anything. But fighters like tonight that can neutralize that punch, he can't get it. He just can't get it going. That's how he looks. He never had great footwork. He never had a jab, like head movement, didn't have head movement either. He always did that leaning back thing, because when he was younger, he could do that, especially against, if he had fought Parker, 5-6 years ago, he could have gotten away with all that stuff and knocked him out. Right. But the 38-year-old Wilder can't do that, and Parker rocked him a few times. I mean, he hit on one shot, he turned and looked at the camera like, damn, yo. Damn, y'all, that hurt. Hey, shout out to our guy Eric L over on Facebook for showing us some love. Appreciate you. Yes, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Not Twitch. I should have put it on Twitch. Well, look, the two viewers over there, just find your way over here. Okay. Yeah. So disappointing, but not at all surprising. After like the fourth round, I knew this is going to be a problem. Pretty easy night for Parker. Like he didn't have to do a whole lot to get that win. He got hit maybe one good shot, but it was blocked. I mean, that's probably the one shot that may have hurt him a little bit, but yeah. But you're right though. Wilder's still entertaining. Wilder versus Joshua still has a name, and I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think that the fight still happens? Do you still want to see the fight? I think the fight could still happen, right? Especially now, because listen, we all I mean, Joshua has that reputation, or he's viewed as being scared of Wilder, right? But after Wilder's performance tonight and after Joshua's performance, we'll get to the Otto Wallin fight in a second. I think there's enough confidence there for him to say, yeah, I'll take him on. And even though Wilder's clearly washed, um, if Joshua goes out there and knocks him out clean, does like a Wallin type of fight, that's going to catapult him back into the spotlight.
Now it's time for Joshua to get another big name on his roster, or on his, on his what we call it,
resume.
Whatever, his resume. Yeah. So I mean, even though, like you said, even though he's washed, it's still a name that like you said, that he's been accused of ducking for a long time. I think AJ did look good, Wilder didn't. So it's perfect time to for his team and Eddie Hearn and them to put him in a situation where, a fool's gold type situation where, oh, he beat Wilder, man. That's a big fight to catapult him and, make him the star that we all thought that he was going to be, right? Just off of the look and the name situation and resume building, and then, that can lead to him fighting, Fury eventually, or Usyk again, whatever the case may be. But it's if they're gonna do it, it's now is the time. It's the time for Joshua to do it, because we know he looked a little so over his last few fights. So I mean, make it happen. I'll say this, I take that fight, and I think it'll be easier for them to sell that fight over him and Parker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He already beat Parker.
Like, yeah. So it's just like, just make it happen. And I think one thing in the heavyweight division, I think more than any division, I think that's one spot where, it's any given Saturday. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it's who had the better night that night. I mean, it's more of a obviously, because of the power that's in the ring amongst each other, but it's just more of a puncher's chance in that division. So we don't know what can happen. Well, I mean, we've seen AJ get put on his ass before, so, and Wilder has that ability to do that. So we just don't know. I mean, and then we've seen Wilder in this situation before. He's been hurt before and then came back and knocked the person out. He knocked Ortiz out, and then
twice.
Yeah, and then against Fury, he was hurt, but they ended up putting him on the floor, which some people say should have been the end of the fight.
Yeah.
So, I say bring the fight on, make it happen. Why not?
Yeah, Chris. He said he didn't realize he was 38. A lot of people don't realize that he's old. Fury's old. I think Fury's like 40. A lot of those guys in the heavyweight division are old. Even that Chinese guy, Zhang, is that his name? Zhang. He's like pushing 40 as well, I believe. Yeah, man, it's a changing of the guards, and like this younger generation is going to start moving up, and a couple of them were fighting tonight. In fact, I have the fight card here because listen, it was a packed card. There was 8 fights on this card. It started at 11:30 a.m. Okay, 11:30, and it just finished about 6:30. So it was a full day of boxing, and I watched all of it. Surprisingly, okay. See, Frank Sanchez, that fight, look, that wasn't that competitive, even though it went to 7 rounds. This Philip, I always pronounce his name wrong. Hargovich. Philip Hargovich is one of these up and coming heavyweights, right? That's getting the buzz. He's 17-0, I believe. And this fight tonight is a first round knockout. I mean, you wouldn't. I mean, that guy didn't belong in the ring at all, even if it was just for sparring. okay, with headgear. That guy didn't belong in the ring. He got hit one time, Mikey, one time, and my man ran away and took a knee. Okay, it wasn't a hey, I'm wobble or whatever. He's just like, oh, I don't like getting hit like that. Nah, I'm just go ahead and just take this knee. They should have stopped the fight there. They stopped it like 2 punches later. He got up from a 8 count. He got hit, pretending he got hit in the back of the head. So the ref was looking at Hagovic saying, hey, don't hit in the back of the head. Then he hit the dude again. And clean punch in the face. He grabbing the back of his head, like he got hit in the back of the head. And the ref's like, all right, this ain't for you, bro.
Right. You're wasting our time, bro. Get out of here.
Listen, I don't know what's worse. Okay, let's talk about this other fight. Because I want to ask y'all what is worse here. I want to bring up this other fight on the card here. Jai Opetaia. Now, Jai Opetaia was the IBF cruiserweight champion, right? Just 5 days ago. He got stripped, right? And I was arguing with B yesterday saying, hey, like there's like 3 title fights on here. He was like, nah, I only see Bivol and somebody else. Or no, it was just one, right? Just a Bivol. I think Bivol's the only one that had the belt. And I was like, no, there's a cruiserweight one. And he's like, look, I'm looking at the card. There's no cruiserweight belt. And I'm like, yo, that dude Opetaia has a belt, right? And he's like, no, he doesn't have a belt. Find out today the IBF stripped him 5 days ago. So when they started, when they made this card, it was for his belt, right? They stripped it on some BS because the guy that he's fighting wasn't the mandatory, right? But the mandatory stepped aside. Oh, no, that's what it was. Yeah, the mandatory stepped aside, but this guy wasn't ranked high enough or something like that. It was some technicality, and they decided, well, we're stripping you of the title. So this wasn't for the belt. Okay. But it didn't matter for Ellis Zorro. Okay. And it says to retain cruiserweight title there, but there was no cruiserweight title on the line because he got stripped. But Ellis Zorro, who was also undefeated, good news is it didn't matter, my friend, because he got knocked out cold. It was a left hook or right hook. I mean, caught him right on the chin, and his head bounced off the bottom rope. He was laid out. And Opetaia, listen, man, this is my first time watching him. I ain't gonna lie. I don't watch too many cruiserweights. He looked, Mikey, he looked lean. He had a lot of bounce in his step. He looked so lean, Mikey. I didn't think he had that kind of power. I ain't gonna lie. He was the same size as the other fighter, Zorro, right? And I was like, there's nothing special about him. I don't see a big deal. When he caught that dude, man, yeah, he got some serious power. They're talking about him moving up to heavyweight.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I was just watching the clip right before we got on here, and I saw that, and I was like, "Who the heck is this dude?" But it was definitely clean, perfect setup for it, and he knocked him clean out. Yeah, wasn't a knockdown. He knocked him clean out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask y'all in the chat, man, what is worse, getting knocked out clean like that, or getting dominated so bad you're not even hurt? The ref just says, we're gonna stop it here because you have no shot. What is a bigger shot to your pride as a fighter? Right? You get knocked out clean. Nobody wants to get knocked out, right? Nobody wants to get knocked out. But you're so not non-competitive. You're not even hurt. It's not like one of those things hey, I'm saving you from yourself because you're taking too many shots. It's just we don't need to say anymore. Let's save everybody's time and call this because you're not gonna win this. I'd rather get knocked out cold.
I was about to say that's a tough one. I mean, yeah, as long as my kids ain't there, look, we can keep them from watching me get knocked out cold. But yeah, when somebody just tells you like, look, man, you're not good enough. Like, that's that's tough. That's gotta sting your pride there. Look, you get knocked out, especially in the sport of boxing. You get knocked out. Look, it's a part of the sport. And you know what? I just got caught slipping. You know what I mean? I got caught. But someone telling you that, hey man, nah, you ain't got it. We're gonna end this now. That's pretty bad.
You can tell yourself, you can tell your loved ones, you can tell everybody, man, just a lucky punch, man. He just caught me. I didn't have my guard up, whatever. It happens. This is the fight game. It happens, right? You can write that off. But when the ref says, nah, I don't want to see anymore. Your corner doesn't want to see anymore. Nobody wants to see anymore. Just go home. All right, go collect your check. It's fine. It's not on you, right? That's embarrassing. That tells you how big the gap is between you and the top. Speaking of, after the fight, this was more interesting than the actual fight. They asked Hrgović about Jared, the real big baby Anderson, and he said Jared Anderson is just breakfast. He said he's just breakfast. He's looking for. He said he'll eat him alive. He's looking for some bigger fish,
wow,
so to speak. Now I was like, oh,
wow.
And it was funny because Hrgović sounded real humble before that, right? And they asked him about Jared Anderson. He's just like, that's nothing. He's nothing to me.
That's light work.
Light work. So
wow.
Jared Anderson, Mikey, what do you think? Do you think Jared Anderson is ready for Hrgović, or is Hrgović ready for Jared Anderson?
I think it'll be a good fight. Look, I mean, it's time, man. Like we gotta see what we got in Jared Anderson. My fear for him is that he's shown on plenty of occasions that he may not love the sport of boxing. Right?
Yeah.
He does it because he's good. He can do it. He can make it. He's trying to make a lot of money doing it. Once you start stepping up in competition, like just doing it for the sport of it, just doing it because you're just talented eye to do it. That's when that can catch up to you. So that's my fear for him. But I mean the eye test and me somewhat being a halfway, someone that knows what they're talking about with boxing. I think Jared Anderson he's a good boxer. He's a good fighter. So I wouldn't mind seeing it. I think it's about that time for him to step up and see what he can do.
Big with Big Reg says they just told this man he belongs in a cubicle. Look, that's exactly how he looked. And the crazy thing is, Mikey, when he walked out to the ring, I was like, man, that dude was big. The dude he was fighting, he was big. But Hrgović is a giant. I just looked up because I was like, man, he made that dude look tiny. And that dude did not look small before Hrgović came out there. Hrgović is 6'6". Well, he's 6'6". Yeah, 6'6". Doesn't have his weight listed here, but he's a heavyweight. Yeah, he dwarfed that other guy, man. That might be a problem for Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson ain't no little boy, but
yeah.
The thing with Anderson reminds me a lot of Chris Bird. You remember Chris Bird? Chris Bird was a heavyweight, very quick hands. He had some, okay power, but by no means was a knockout artist. And he relied on his athleticism a lot. But once he started fighting the bigger fighters like the Klitschko's, he got put away. But Anderson reminds me of him a little bit. Anderson is more. He's more powerful than Chris Bird, but he's not. I wouldn't call Anderson a knockout artist, but he can put you away for sure. But he relies too much on his athleticism. There are times where he doesn't have his hands up, and he thinks that he can just dodge with his head, and he gets caught. You can't do that against somebody like Hrgović. or any of those top heavyweights. You can't do that. And that's the part of his game that he's going to have to work on if he wants to progress. And the other part, like you said, I don't know how much he cares about that, right? And I respect it. Hey, I'm in the game to make a little bit of money and then get out. I get it. Cool. But my man Hagovich said your breakfast, and I believe it. I believe he would eat you for breakfast.
That's when you get your head knocked off, when you don't really love it. You know what I mean? And he's young. He's still young, so maybe he will buy into it. I see a bunch of people, is trying to talk to him. Roy Jones. I don't know if that was just for the cameras or whatever, but
yeah, I thought that was an act, but
yeah, he just doesn't appear to be in love with it. So, we'll see. But it's about time. Maybe it's about time to see what he can do and step up a little bit.
Yeah. All right. What else we got in this fight card here? I actually missed this one. This is why I had to go make a run to the store for the kiddies. Ajit Kabayel. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the other name there. Yeah. So that's how that went. 4th round TKO. I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything about that one. Mm-hmm. But the next one, I made sure I was home for this. Daniel Dubois versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Okay. Big Baby Miller talks a lot of trash. A whole lot of trash. At one point, he was one of those promising young heavyweights. But then he tested positive for steroids 3 different times. Okay. And he'd been banned from the sport for a while. And of course, Eddie Hearn gives him another shot because Eddie Hearn has all the cheaters on his stable. All right. But he's been walking around. He was talking trash to Anthony Joshua before the fight, all in his face, calling him soft, calling him a coward and all this stuff. He was calling Daniel Dubois a quitter, and everybody knows you're a quitter and all this stuff, right? He came into the fight, Mikey, over 300 pounds.
328, right?
Yeah, 328. He looked like he added another 12 pounds before the fight. And they talking about, oh yeah, he's trying to get his weight down. Excuse me. He's trying to get his weight down. Listen, 335. Thank you. 335. That's shameful, bro. That's shameful, right? If you're a Hagovich has more of a frame to put on 300 pounds. Jarrell Miller does not have that frame. You had time to drop the weight. Okay. That wasn't because you just couldn't drop it enough. What were you, 400 before? You know what I'm saying? If you come from 400, I guess. But maybe you should just wait until you get sub 300 before you actually get in the ring. But I'll say this. He competed because Dubois has a lot of flaws. All right. Neither one of them knows anything about defense. Dubois, he got a little gas too. I was a little surprised. I'm like, okay, well, how you guys in the same shape? You know what I'm saying? Because Dubois looked like he's ripped, But Dubois turned it up at the end, those last 3 rounds, and put him out. Got the TKO with 13 seconds left in the fight. Yeah. And that was all Jarrell Miller's fault too, because he was taunting. I know he was tired. I mean, he was tired from the jump. He was absorbing a lot of punches, but he was trying to taunt him a little bit. And just had his hands down, and Dubois took advantage of it. So, I mean, good, I guess, for Dubois, but I got a lot of questions about Dubois, man. I don't think he has it.
I didn't. This one I missed, and I didn't see the card afterwards. So, who was up on the cards until that point happened? Until that happened?
Dubois easily.
Oh, he was up. Okay.
I mean, when I say Jarrell Miller was competing, like he was exchanging. It wasn't like he was just standing there getting hit. The first round he was. The first round I was like, okay, this dude's just a punching bag. He's not even moving. But then he started delivering some shots because Dubois kind of slowed down a little bit. But I'll give Dubois this because people are questioning Dubois, his toughness. He stood in the pocket with him. Like he didn't block any shot. He took every shot, you know, and he just exchanged blows with them. So yeah, I'll give him that credit. But you know, keep your hands up. You know. So yes, Daniel Dubois with the 10th round TKO with 13 seconds left. Congratulations to him. And then we get into Dmitry Bivol facing Lyndon Arthur. Okay, a unanimous decision. Pretty one-sided. That wasn't. I mean, he got a knockdown. I want to say like the 11th round. I want to say, and he tried to put him away. You know, the announcers were criticizing him, saying that, you know, he just doesn't have what it takes to put fighters away, and that's why they think he's going to lose to what's my man's name?
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev. Yeah. Beterbiev, yeah. Because Beterbiev has knocked out all of his opponents, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not how boxing works, right? Okay, Bivol may not have knockout power, but he's definitely got the skill. You know, I think he's just a better boxer than Beterbiev. Beterbiev is a good boxer, and yes, Beterbiev has that kind of power. But I mean, that don't mean he can knock out Bivol. You know, but that has to be the next fight. Though, you know, Bivol has been putting off a rematch with Canelo because he wants Beterbiev. All right. Beterbiev has to fight Callum Smith.
Callum Smith, yeah.
So I mean, he's gonna win that. But once that fight is done, this is the next fight that needs to happen. And that'll be a big one.
Yeah, it's about time. I do look. I think Beterbiev is he's a good fighter, strong, powerful. But I've seen some flaws in his game too. And I think Bivol, like you said, I think, you know, Bivol's skilled enough to give him trouble. It looked like Bivol might have gotten hurt. They were saying it on the broadcast. I don't know. It wasn't obvious that he was hurt.
He took a body shot and he backed up a little bit, but I don't think he was hurt. I think he was just trying to get Lyndon to drop his guard a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, it wasn't nothing that was glaring if he was hurt. But I think that definitely has to happen next. That has to happen next. Bivol has made it clear he wants the belts. He want to get all the straps. So we should be seeing that. I'm assuming mid to late 2024, because I think that fight with Callum Smith is in January, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So we should be seeing that mid to late 2024. So that's gotta be it, though. That's gotta be next.
Yeah. All right, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. DDSQ, what's going on? Salute to you. Says, what's good, y'all? Missed the fight. How bad was it? It's funny Wilder went after Tyson and who he fought and didn't fight, but his career is going down like this. Shaking my head. Listen, all boxers talk trash. That, you know, that's just part of it. You know, I write off a lot of what people say unless, you know, they get a little too spicy with it, you know. But that's just part of it. But it was bad in the sense that he just didn't look good. You know what I'm saying? It was like he didn't get beat up. He took a couple shots. I wouldn't say he got beat up, but he just didn't do anything out there. You know, he was moving around the ring a lot, which he never did in the past. He's usually a flat-footed fighter. I didn't get it. You're the bigger fighter. You know, move forward. Throw your jab. Make him fight off his back foot. He didn't force him to do any of that stuff. And I tell you what it is, man. He's done. He's done. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. Like, after the fight, he was all smiles. He's just like, hey, man, I'm a different person now. Like, he don't have that mean streak in him anymore. You know, he went on his spiritual retreat, and like just he's a different man now. He's a family man. He's got millions of dollars,
he's
beautiful
rich.
Wife, filthy rich. Yeah, I get it. Listen. Let me get $1 million and watch me check out everything. Don't let alone multiple millions of dollars. Let me get $1 million and watch how fast I check out of everything. Right. So I respect all these fighters that still have that desire to continue to fight after they've made money, they secure themselves financially. Because it's a violent profession. Right. So I have nothing but respect for Deontay Wilder, man. He's entertained us for years. Again, I just wish he learned how to box. Again, not to throw shade, but anybody that wants to argue that he doesn't know how to box, like, I'm sorry, he doesn't. He was winning a lot the way he won, and it is what it is. He won those fights. You can't take that away from him. He was a heavyweight champion, but it's caught up to him now. Right? It's caught up to him now. I don't see him being competitive against Joshua or definitely not Usyk. And Fury, I don't think they fought 3 times already. But even if they fought again, I mean, well, Fury didn't look great either. I think Fury is almost washed. But he's still a name. He's still entertaining. You put him in the ring with Joshua, it's going to sell tickets. So why not? I guess.
How many times? And again, this is not throwing any shade because I like Wilder. I like, like you said, that run he had, it was good for the division, right? But let's be honest, like, how many times have we seen Wilder like throw a combination? You know what I mean?
Just
like
maybe a 1-2, but not often.
Yeah, like, and just tonight, like Parker was, he was jabbing. He might jab to the midsection, to the body, then go to his head, and then come back to the body. So he was doing it's just not a part of his game, and he just never learned that. You can look deeper into the situation with Wilder. Some believe that we all know he fired his original trainer once they threw in the towel in that fight. And some people feel like he preferred yes men, right? Instead of getting with somebody that's going to actually make him work and change the way he fights, and and just to make him better. And so some people will question that, and if that was the situation. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to move around the ring like he was trying to do tonight, if that was a part of the strategy, part of doing that is jab. You gotta hit. If you gotta stick and move. That's that. You gotta throw that jab, and he just wasn't doing it enough. So I agree with you, Zay. I don't get why that was the strategy. But I think they want to. I think after that Fury situation, all the questions about him not being a boxer, I think every fight after that was just him trying to prove, or everything that we seen after that was him trying to prove that he can box, or he's learning how to box. So it's just not his game, man. It's just not his game. If he walks away right now, salute to him. I think he's had a really, really good career.
Yeah,
and as we said,
that's a great career.
He said, "Hey, I was really smart with my money, so I'm good in that regard." So, he sounded like a man that had one foot out the door. We'll see. Maybe they could talk him into, continuing that situation with Joshua, and maybe that bag is heavy enough where it's like, all right, man, let me do this one last time, and then I'm out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he got paid handsomely for tonight's fight. It's a co-main event. And if the Saudis want to put on that fight with him in Joshua, it's going to be another big bag. And of course he'll take it. Why not? But that'll probably be his last fight. I don't see him doing many more fights. Joshua, even though he lost twice to Usyk, everything's still in front of him. Everything's still in front of him. Whether he fights Wilder for his next fight or he gets the winner of Fury and Usyk, he has a chance to grab the belts again. There's all kinds of directions for him to go in. Hagovic, somebody mentioned that. Hagovic is good. I don't think I think Joshua would beat Haglovich. Haglovich is he's strong. He's got powerful. He's got powerful right. But I just I mean, heavyweight. When you're that powerful, anything can happen. But I think Joshua is just a better boxer. So, but there's options for him, and he's got a lot of money to make and some titles to win back. So, good for him. But that was the fights, man. Those are all the fights. Okay, and again, yeah, Bivol won, Parker beat Wilder, Joshua beat Otto Wallin. What are you saying, Mikey?
Now, maybe I missed it. Okay, but one thing that jumped out to me tonight with the Joshua fight is I didn't see one person. Like, do you know who that one person that wasn't there
at the Joshua? I don't know who.
Derek James.
He wasn't there.
Did they split? Did he split from him or what? I mean, now they asked him, like, about his trainer, and he was like, yeah, I'm bouncing around, adding all these people to my team, but it was nobody from Derek James' camp in that corner.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the guy's name who he said his trainer was tonight. But it wasn't nobody with Derek James. So I don't know if he left Derek James. You know how he liked to jump. He liked to jump ship. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because he was with Mikey Garcia's people before, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Before he got with Derek James, I wonder.
Yeah.
Nobody asked him about that.
They didn't specifically ask him where Derek James was, but they brought up his trainer, who trained him this fight, and he said, he gave him his props and stuff like that. But he didn't, and he just said, yeah, I'm kind of moving around, jumping around, adding different people to my team. That's all he said. He didn't mention Derek James. He didn't mention a split. Nobody asked him about a split, but Derek James definitely was not there tonight.
That doesn't sit well with me when fighters switch trainers like that. As much as he does, because that tells me you're not a disciplined fighter, right? Or there's something with you that they're trying to either get you to stop or get out of you, and you're not being receptive to it. You're looking for somebody kind of like Wilder that's trying to be a yes man, allegedly, that's what it's perceived to be with Wilder. He's looking for a yes man in his corner, and that somebody's going to tell him what he needs to hear.
Ben Davison was the lead trainer tonight.
Ben Davison. Okay. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay, he says Bivol was this close to earning a TKO. Yes, the ref was, when the ref was kind of leaning in, like looking to see, all right, should I stop it? He was doing one of those things, but Bivol, he ran out of gas a little bit. Had to take a step back, but still an impressive win. Some people aren't knockout artists. Speaking of not being a knockout artist, because we didn't get to do a stream on this. I was at your house when the fight happened.
Yeah.
Devin Haney beating Regis Prograis. All right. You were having a holiday party. I was there as usual. Myself and our friend Rome were watching the fight, and Jerome asked me, like, yo, how come Haney's not putting Prograis away? And I was like, listen, ever since he had that fight with what's his name? I keep forgetting that boxer's name.
Yeah. The one that touched him up.
Yeah, it'll come back to me. But ever since that day, he has been very reluctant to try to get close enough to try to finish a boxer. Right? If he catches you with a surprising shot and he puts you down that way, that's cool. But I just don't think he'll ever go and try to finish him, because Prograis got wobbled twice. The first time he got wobbled, I was like, well, first he knocked him down, cool. But then the next time he got wobbled, I was like, okay, this is it. He's going to put him away now, right? And he just stepped back. And then he did it again in the later rounds, and it's just like, well, why aren't you finishing this guy? You know, let me find his box rec here. I'm trying to see who Linares. That's what it was. I remember Linares. Yes, when he fought Linares, he was actually trying to go for a knockout, right? But he pursued it a little too much, and he got caught at the end of one round, and he was hurt. But he shook it off. He finished the fight. He won the fight. But that scared him. I think that scared Bill. And that's not their game. That's fine. But yes, it was a dominant performance over Prograis. But now this is the only thing I don't like about Haney and his people, man. When I say his people, I mean Bill Haney. Always calling out Tank Davis, knowing full well that's not the fight that you want, right?
And knowing it, this is the thing about that. Knowing it's not gonna happen. Like, you're not going back to 135.
No.
Right. So, and then why should Tank have to go up to 140? Like, you know that hopscotch and that play is gonna be in between making that happen. Then let's say they agreed. Let's say Tank said, all right, man, I'll come up to 140. Okay. Then it's the argument of who's the A side, B side. Who should get the bigger check?
Which isn't an argument.
Yeah, it's like it's all of that. I think I will give them credit for this because they were doing it. They didn't just start doing it after this fight. They were doing it to the lead up to this fight. And they do it to try to bring more eyes to whatever fight they in. If you notice, they are like whenever Haney's about to fight and leading up to whoever they talk about whoever is the hot name at that time or whoever has a big fight coming up at that time within range of their division. So I give them, it's smart, right? To try to sell the fight that you're in because rumors are that fight went wood in the hood, right?
Yeah,
and that's the argument when you go to the table with a Tank Davis is, bro, I'm going to sell this fight. You haven't proven that you can sell a fight, so I'm going to be the one selling this fight. So that's why I'm the A side. And they'll never agree on that. So I agree with you. I hate that they go down this route all the time. We know the fight's not going to happen.
So Mikey, let's break this down for our viewers, right? Because we like to be a little bit more educational on this channel, this boxing channel, if you will, right? Because everybody's talking about this. This has been, I've been watching a lot of different YouTubers discuss this all week. A lot of debates, and I love watching all that stuff, informative and entertaining. But we don't do too much debating over here with people. We have casual conversations, but for the casual fans that don't understand a lot of that stuff, I want to take time to break that down because that's one thing a lot of these channels don't do, right? When you talk about A side, B side, right? A side basically meaning the person that's going to make more money, the person that kind of sets the stipulations for the fight. Okay. It's going to be more on the A side's turn because they're the bigger draw. Okay. This is something I want to say Mayweather coined the phrase, but this is the first time I heard that phrase be used when he was saying, I'm the A side.
Yeah.
But it's because, he's the one that's going to be a draw and people are really going to watch him fight.
They come in to watch him. Yeah.
Yeah. So the cut's going to be more his side, whether it's, 70-30, 60-40, whatever. Depends on how popular the other fighter is. The more popular, the closer to 50-50 it can become. I think Mayweather and Pacquiao, it might have been 50-50. I'm not sure. If not, it was close because Pacquiao is very popular, right? But in a situation like this, Tank is the clear A side. Okay, Tank Davis, his last fight did over 1 million pay-per-view buys with Ryan Garcia. Okay, Devin Haney, his last pay-per-view fight with Regis Prograis did reportedly 55,000 fights. Right now, Bill Haney will tell you that's not what it is, but he won't tell you what number it actually is. Which means if it's more than 55, it's not more than 60. right?
And Devin Haney was on it. Devin Haney was being interviewed recently, and the guy asked him, about the pay-per-view numbers. He said he hasn't seen the number. We haven't gotten them yet. So somebody's lying. If Bill knows the number, but Haney is saying we haven't seen the number, somebody's lying. Okay.
Like, I wouldn't even ask about the 55,000. Did it do 100,000? Did it do 200,000? Because even if it did 200,000, which is really good, that's not even half of what Tank did the fight before the Ryan Garcia fight when he fought Hector Luis Garcia, right? That fight did over 400,000, I believe, right? So, Tank is just he's a big draw, and that's what happens when you have a lot of knockouts. When you're a knockout artist, people want to see it, right? And that's fine. That's not Devin Haney. It's fine, right? But if you're doing a fight with Tank, then it's got to be on his terms. Now, what Devin Haney wants to do, and Bill Haney, they want to have the fight at 140, and they want no rehydration clause. What is a rehydration clause? A rehydration clause meaning these fighters to make weight. Okay, we're gonna fight at 140. We have to weigh in at 140 or less, right? You can't be within a certain amount of weight over 140. I think you gotta be at 140 during weigh-in, right? Most of these fighters don't walk around at that weight. So what they do is drain themselves. They dehydrate themselves, right? To get their weight under. After they weigh in, they're allowed to rehydrate up to a certain amount of weight. I believe it's like 15% or something like that, right? Now, Devin Haney in his last fight with Regis Prograis, he came into the ring at 165. It's a 140-pound division. He came in 25 pounds over. Okay. So what Tank did, because this is something that Ryan Garcia does as well. What Tank said is, if we do this fight, you can't come in 20 pounds overweight.
I think they gave 10, right?
Yeah.
10 pounds. Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't even think it was a weight limit. I think it was, you have to be this weight at a certain time.
At a certain time, yeah.
And then you can rehydrate. You have, this time period to rehydrate to whatever, but it wouldn't give them enough time to balloon up to 20 pounds. Yeah. But the Haneys don't want that. They don't want that for their stipulation. They just want to say, hey, let's just do the fight, right? That's not going to happen, right? And you don't have any grounds to stand on. Okay, if you need that extra 25 pounds, then you shouldn't be at 140 pounds. Right, you shouldn't be at 147. You should be at 154.
Yeah,
right. You should be at 154, something like that. That should be nothing for you. You should say, okay, no problems. Let me come in 10 pounds over or whatever, and we can get this work. But they don't want that either. The fact is this: Bill Haney is trying to fake it until he makes it. Okay, he's done a great job. Managing Devin Haney's career. Devin Haney, was it 2-3 division world champion, right? He had all the belts at 135. He's got a belt now, 140. Very skilled. One of the top fighters out there, right? There are certain fighters he doesn't want Devin Haney fighting. Tank is clearly one of them. I think that's obvious, right? Tank would hurt him. And he doesn't want, no fighter wants to be perceived as ducking, right? Ducking another fighter. So Bill Haney's going to go out there every chance he gets and says, and put Tank's name out there to make it seem like, well, we're not ducking Tank. Tank's actually ducking us, right? Oh, well, we want to fight Tank, but it's got to be under our terms because, we're the A side because we're the champion. He doesn't have the belts that we have. He doesn't have the resume that we have. But none of that matters. Tank is the draw, So that, I mean, it's a lot of that going on. So when you hear people talking about this, and you will, if you're looking through these boxing channels, you'll hear this Haney and Tank talk. As a casual fan, that doesn't really mean anything to you. All you need to know is that fight is most likely not going to happen. In fact, Haney right now is trying to work out a deal to fight Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, it ain't happening. It's not happening. And I mean, in the rewind a little bit, the A side even goes down to something as small as who walks last.
Yes.
That's how detailed who the A side is. It can even go down to who walks first, who walks last.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Crawford and Spence, they kind of split that. Yeah, they split who's the A side. All right, boom. All right, we both bring that. Okay, it's A1, A2, and they coin flipped on who walks last. That's how it comes down to things that small. Where some of us would think like, yo, look, we both gotta go to the same ring. As a casual fan, you might be thinking like, yo, who cares who walks last or whatever. But those are all the things that are negotiated when you picking or when you're determining who's the A side and who's the B side of the fight. Of those fighters.
You're absolutely right. Like when you're fighting at an elite level, man, all those little things, it's a psychological advantage. Any little advantage they feel like they can get, they're going to try to get it. So it is a big deal for these fighters. But yeah, man, like look, like I said, if when you go to the other channels and you hear the discussion about that and you're trying to figure out what they're talking about, that's what they're talking about. And that shouldn't be an argument. That shouldn't be a debate. Tank is the one that's drawing the money. He gets the bigger portion of the revenue, right? That's how it's going to work. If he says, yes, we can move up to 140 or whatever, you can balloon up to a certain amount of weight, then that's what it needs to be. It's his terms, right? I don't care if Haney has all the belts, because that's what they're trying to do at 135. Hey, we got all the belts, it's got to be on our terms. It's not on your terms. Nobody watches you fight.
And this is my thing with that. Now, it's been documented that, Haney had trouble making 135 for a little bit now. And, but as soon as he got all the belts, he dipped. So it's like, if you wanted to make the fight, why wasn't that the next fight?
Yeah.
You ran the 140, you got a belt there, you let your belts go at 135. I think that was the last chance of this fight happening. And listen, I'm not saying that if you feel like 135 is too hard on your body, there's a lot of talk out there that 147 was too hard for Spence to make, and that's why he looked the way he did, and he needs to be more of a 154 fighter. So that look, if that's the thing that Haney was going through, fine. If it was best for you to move up, fine. But you knew, the world knew, that was the last chance, a last shot of that fight happening, is him at 135. Who knows? Tank, yes, he's fought at 140 before, but when he fought at 140, he had a rehydration clause in that fight. So, I'm with you. I hate all this talk, especially if there's no chance of happening. The one thing I will, I've been documented. You go to some of the earlier episodes of Ring Kings podcast. I was very, very hard on Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
I was very.
We all were.
But I got my wish. If you go to early episodes, I said I just want Tank to knock him out, and he did. He stopped him. So I got my wish. Now I don't have no problem with the kid.
This is on our Ring Kings card right here. Okay. This is what we thought of Ryan Garcia. Respectfully. But it's one thing I'll give him credit for is he'll step in. He stepped up to the plate. And now he want to fight Haney. He's trying to step up to the plate. I'm not mad at the kid. You know what I mean? But it's just it's not it ain't gonna happen, bro. So I hate when the fight is not even close to happening, and then it's all this talks around it. At least when there was talk about Garcia and Tank, they were right there. Like there was a chance of it happening, and it ended up happening. So we know this shit ain't happening. It ain't nowhere close to happening. So until they get close, table all of that talk and make these other fights happen. Right. Again, they're just using Tank's name to catapult, to try to keep his name up there, right? Because if you can, what Bill Haney is trying to do is put Devin Haney in this area where he's looked at as one of the top fighters, which he already is, but also a fighter that Tank is afraid to fight. That's how he wants he wants the narrative to be. Oh, this is the one fighter that Tank won't fight because he knows what it is, right? And he wants to do that and also avoid fighting Tank, which he can easily do because Haney's just a heavier fighter, right? That's just what it is. He doesn't belong at 140 either. You know what I'm saying? That's too small for him. And that's why, there were talks of him trying to go up and fight Keith Thurman, right? At 147. Because 140 is going to be hard for him to make, even though he can balloon up to 25 pounds, because that's really too much to go over, right? So he doesn't want to go up to 147 either because Boots Ennis is there, right? He don't want to fight Boots Ennis. So I think they're trying to navigate these waters until Boots moves out, because I don't think Boots is going to stay at 147 for too much longer. I think he moved up to 154. He's trying to get that work with Spence, Crawford, whoever is still fighting the next year or so. He's going to try to get that work with them. The Charlos. He wants those challenges. So I think once he moves out, I can see Devin Haney sneaking in there. And of course he wants to fight Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman only fights once every 3 years, right? But Keith Thurman, he looks good every time he gets in the ring. I'll give him that. But that's what it is with Devin Haney. Devin Haney, his father is doing a great job navigating these waters, making sure his son doesn't take any fights that are too dangerous for him. But I don't think you'll ever see Haney and Tank Davis fight.
Yeah, and there's no disrespect. Like you said, we're making it clear, because there's gonna be somebody in the comment, oh, we hate no Haney. It's not a hate on Haney. We give Haney his props here.
Absolutely.
Haney is one of the best fighters in the game right now. But that's just, Haney got on Ryan Garcia for doing the very thing that he's doing now, where Ryan Garcia would have a weak fight set, and then that's when he would call out Haney or Tank or Shakur, and so Haney was very critical of that. He does the same thing, and that's what we're calling out. We're calling a spade a spade. Let's just be real in the situation. There was a recent interview with Inouye, who's fighting. Matter of fact, day after Christmas.
Yeah.
Now listen, I saw the ring walk listed at 5:55 a.m. So I'm probably I might miss that one. I'm not even gonna lie. The last couple was at like 8 a.m. I could do that. But 5:55 to see him whip somebody's ass, I doubt I'm gonna get up.
I don't know, man. Last time we got up early enough to do a stream, that video's over 10,000 views.
True.
Mikey.
All right, you're right. We got to get up and do that. All right, you're right. I forgot.
We might have to.
We have to do that. Okay, I forgot. But anyway, was asked about Tank, and he kept it real. Like, bro, that fight ain't happening. He's like, that's the fans. The fans are adding this hype to this possible matchup. He's like, it's not happening. I have a ton of respect for him. He's showing respect for me. He was like, yo, we're the best too. We got the most pop in the game. Yes. But he was like, yo, it's not, that ain't coming from us. That's coming from the fans that want to see it. Like, I respected him saying that. Like, and nobody can say, oh, he's scared of Tank. No, he just kept it real. Like, bro, I gotta look.
I got more 5 weight classes.
Yeah, it's too much in between to make that happen. That ain't happening. So it's just, all of the posturing and all of that. It sounds good, but to us who love the sport, we know it ain't happening. So it just becomes annoying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Talk like them talking. This him and Ryan Garcia could possibly happen. Okay, cool. If that could possibly happen, start talking that more, because at least there's a possibility of that going down. You talking all of this Tank stuff, we know that shit ain't happening right now. If before it was Tank, it was him and Shakur going back and forth. Then Shakur to them, to certain people, they felt he had a bad performance. So then they dropped his name because now he ain't hot. Now the media is cooled on him because they feel like he had a bad performance. So they moved back to Tank. So it's just like, and neither one of those fights was happening either. So relax.
Yeah. Now I'll say this about Ryan Garcia, man. This I would pick Haney to win in this fight, right? I think Haney's a better boxer. Ryan Garcia is no slouch, though, right? Yes,
He ain't no slouch.
He's no slouch, and he look, man, Devin Haney, he clearly don't have to pop that Tank has. He don't, Ryan Garcia doesn't have to worry about getting those hits that he got from Tank, right? I think this is going to be a more competitive fight. I think it'll be an entertaining fight. And look, listen, this is, people are going to talk about it. I don't think Haney's going to put away Ryan Garcia. I think he'll win it. I don't think he's going to put him away. When he doesn't put him away, people are going to be like, "Hey, man, you was talking a lot of trash about Tank fighting Ryan Garcia, how he sucked and everything. Tank made him quit."
Yeah, I expect a heavy dosage of Tank's name in the lead up to this fight, coming from both of them, which is going to be annoying. It's rather than talking about each other, they're gonna watch. There's going to be a lot of Tank talk going in between the lead up of this fight.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Chris White wants to talk about Shakur. Right? He said they still clown him at the barbershop. Listen, here's the thing with Shakur. He did it to himself. Every fighter has bad nights, right? It didn't matter. Okay, like he's hurt or he just had an off night. It doesn't matter. He won the fight, got a belt, and all he had to say is, "Hey, man, I just had an off night, man. Like, I gotta do better than that. I will do better than that in the future." And most of the talk goes away, right? Because every fighter goes through that, right? You're gonna have your detractors because that's boxing. Boxing is a sport where people talk a lot of trash, right? So yeah, you're gonna have people that are gonna say stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. You just say, "Hey, off night, I'll be better next time," and you don't even address that anymore. But he's out there making all these excuses. He's just saying all the stuff on social media, and it's just you're fanning the flames, so you're not making it any better if you're just been quiet this whole time and just focus on your next fight. Then you're good. But now we don't know who you. I mean, I don't know who he has planned to fight next, but I mean, he needs to set that up ASAP, right? To get this stink off of him from this last fight. But yeah, that's a young man's mistake, man. That was just pride getting in the way. You don't need to make any excuses. Pride. Yeah, that's all it is. But Shakur,
he won the fight. He wasn't in no trouble. No. I mean, like, dude, I guess dude had a little bit of pop that he had to watch out for. So he, like, I'm not gonna put myself in any danger. And he's done that before, right? And he caught flack before. He caught flack for it. And then the next fight he came out, he was a little more aggressive. But like you said, he can have a bad night. But Shakur has done away with some big time, fighters. Like he ain't do that against
Valdez. Yeah,
he beat the brakes off of Valdez. Yeah. So it's just like you said, his pride got in the way of all of that talk. He wasn't used to that, and it just is what it is. You're right though. You got to take that on the chin. I had a bad night.
That's it.
Cards spoke for themselves. I wasn't in any trouble. Cool, man. Bad night. I'll see y'all in a couple months.
Exactly. Now, Chris, couple things. One, they don't fight in the same weight class anymore. Teofimo Lopez fights at 140, and Shakur fights at 135. Shakur's not moving up.
No.
Right. He just moved up to 135. Just moved up. So they're not fighting. Two, Teofimo is the most up and down fight I've ever seen. Okay. Me and B and our nephew Sadiq, we went to New York to watch him fight Sandor Martin, who did exactly what you're saying Shakur Stevenson did. Sandor Martin, that's his game, hide and seek. Okay. And a lot of people felt that he beat Teofimo Lopez. He put him down. He should have beat him, technically, right? He put him down once, scored a knockdown, got another knockdown in the fight. They didn't call it a knockdown, but it absolutely was a knockdown. Right, that fight was so bad, and we were close. We were close to it. We saw it. In fact, I got some footage. I think I put out a short of the knockdown. I think I called it a slip in the video. You hear me say it's a slip, but when you see the replay of it, it was a knockdown. But after the fight, he got the decision. His home crowd booed him. Okay, they did not think he won that fight. Teofimo, but he came back. He beat the brakes off of what's his face,
Josh Taylor.
Yeah. So he's up and down. He can lose a Cambosis. Then knock out Campa, and then look bad against Sandor Martin and come back and beat Josh Taylor. Like, I mean, but to say that he had trouble or Shakur would have trouble with Teofimo.
Yeah,
I mean, Shakur could just as easily make Teofimo look bad. Shakur talks too much trash about 140, not to move up. He doesn't say anything about 140. He was talking about Haney. Yeah, and Haney just moved up, so he's not talking about the 140 division. He's talking about. I mean, he did talk about Ryan Garcia. He did say Ryan Garcia is trash. Yeah, you're right about that, Chris. Right? He called him trash, but then didn't want to commit to fighting him.
Right, and then that goes to the stuff that we talk about, like the rehydration clause, because he stopped at that. Like, I mean, yeah, look, I'll fight anybody, but them dudes, he know them dudes balloon up to 160, 165.
Right, that's for you, Mikey. Is that
up,
the GOAT?
So, look, man, congrats on y'all win tonight, man.
Congrats.
I found your new QB.
One more win and another win a season.
But yeah, like that's where all of that rehydration stuff comes in. And that's what Shakur was like, look, man, I ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna fight this dude at 160.
Yeah. That's a part of it that I want to kind of educate people more on, is how these fights really go down, right? Because it's not just, hey, let's pick a date at and fight. It's how much are we going to enter the ring at, right? Because Ryan Garcia is another big fighter. Like, of course, Ryan Garcia will call out Devin Haney because he balloons up to 160, right? Yeah. Like he's like, oh, you gonna come in at 165? Cool, me too, right? Like that's an easy fight to make. But not every fighter is the same size, right? Shakur Stevenson is a naturally smaller fighter. He can't put on that kind of weight. He can move up to 140, right? But maybe he comes into the ring on 145, 147, but he can't get up to 160. He don't have the frame for it, right? Other fighters do have the frame for it. Same thing with Tank. Tank went up to 140, and he said it. He's just like, I'm just not comfortable here. He's more at 135, and that's kind of his limit. When he gets a little bit older, he'll go up to 140. I don't think he'll ever go past 140. Same thing with Shakur Stevenson. Devin Haney doesn't belong at 140. He should be at 147 right now, looking to get up to 154, right? If it weren't for the rehydration clause, you wouldn't see him at the division. So that's what it is there. Shik says he don't want to hear that. What has happened to Wilder? He's almost 40 years old. This is what happened, and he never learned how to box. That's what happened. Raheem Ali, what's going on? Says, did you all hear about Tank's houses getting burned down? We did. And I saw pictures of it, or video. His trainer had posted some videos of them on fire. Now, did they get completely burnt down?
Partially burnt. So, I mean, those houses are already going to get rehabbed, right? They're going to get renovated. It sucks, right? It sucks. But listen, I know people are saying, hey, we always do this to ourselves. We don't listen. I wouldn't say that was us that did that. You know what I mean? Like there's
that this is a historical thing that people do not like to other folks do not like to see happen, right?
Yeah, buddy.
But
especially in Baltimore.
But I that's not going to stop them. It's not going to stop their cause. They're going to renovate those houses. They're going to be affordable homes. I think that's a great thing that what he did. Yeah, he is. He said Tank was trying to revitalize the neighborhood and some dummies burned his houses down. I don't think it was just some dummies in the neighborhood. I'm gonna tell you that. There's a lot more to the story about affordable housing in Baltimore City.
Yes. And people buying up blocks to make it affordable.
Yes.
Now there's a it's not what this show is for, but we'll go shortly on this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vacant, ran down homes in Baltimore, right? Mm-hmm. And you have two types of people that come in and buy those homes, right? You have the ones who buy 30 homes, rehab them, flip them, or sell them this Section 8, or make them price them so high that the people in the neighborhood can't afford to live there anymore, and then they gotta go somewhere else. Or you have people like Tank who come in to buy the neighborhood which he grew up in, and to fix it up and then make it affordable living for the people in the community, right? He clearly, there's a good chance that he stepped on somebody's toes who wanted that block.
Yes.
And who had different plans for that block. And then we'll just leave it at that, because then it gets very political after that. But that's,
I would say that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I would argue that's exactly what it is, and not the other thing that most people will say it is.
Right.
And if you know politics of Baltimore, most people will look at that and call it that too. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jazzy Jeff, what's going on? Says, yep. All right. Thank you. Thanks for agreeing with us, Jazzy Jeff. Thanks for coming through. Yes, let's see. Tank shouldn't have announced it. Mayweather didn't care. Are you talking about the weight difference?
The weight
yes,
thing,
he did. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. He put those stipulations in there as well. He didn't let you just come in the ring and just do whatever you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't just set up a fight. Like, he made Pacquiao do all kinds of steroid testing because he knew what it was. Yeah, he knew what it was with Pacquiao. No. He cared about that as well, right? Mm-hmm. Every fighter, not saying that Shakur is saying you have to come in at exactly 140 to on fight night, but I think it's reasonable to say I don't want you 20 pounds heavier.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same problem I had with that guy Fundora, in the 154 division, right?
Yeah,
he's 6'7", rail thin, but if that man put on 35 pounds, you wouldn't be able to tell. And of course, that's what he was doing, right? And he knocking people out. Just like, damn, man, like how does skinny dude, knocking people out? Well, because he comes to a fight night at light heavyweight.
He beat my man Lubin down, man.
Yeah,
but then he got caught. He got.
Yes, he did.
He got caught.
he got seized. It's like. He's like, I don't want to get up.
He got caught.
Oh man! Shout out to Job Big for the like over on Facebook. All right, man, we're gonna wrap this up, man. Look, we shaking up the cobwebs.
I'm a last minute shopper, man. I got some stores to hit real quick, unfortunately.
Oh man, what time is it? I'm supposed to go hit up Target.
Yo, Target is a madhouse, bro.
I know. I'm doing the pickup.
We just did it. Madhouse, bro.
I know.
Madhouse, bro. Put your army jacket on. It's just be ready to,
I'm gonna call you from the truck, man. I'm gonna have some snacks. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm built for the road, man. Like this.
Yeah, true.
I'm gonna have my snacks. I don't like the Target over here. Like how you gotta get funneled in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a back entrance. I'll try to sneak in that way. But yeah, I'm not walking in the store. I'm pulling right up.
Nah,
I
I
don't
agree.
care. They tell me it's a 35-minute wait. I'm gonna sit right there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll be in slot 5 just whenever y'all ready.
Right.
April sent me earlier. She's like, "Can you go to this? You want to go into the store and get this stuff?" I was like, "Hell no, hell no."
Store. I was mad. I had to go. Listen, I did curbside for one of my wife's gifts. Now, first of all, I had to drive way too far to get this shit. Okay. So I get there. I'm trying to do curbside on the app. It's saying, "Oh, it's not registering, whatever, right?" Get out the car, go inside, and I'm like, and I see a young lady walk by me, you just kind of do the head nod, hey, you just think somebody being nice. So I'm waiting in this one line, and then the same young lady comes up to me and was like, "Hey, did you have a curbside?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Yeah, we just walked right by each other." And I was like, "Yeah, the app was saying that it wasn't registered." So so she brought it out, and I was coming in because it was saying. So I'm like, see, I can't have that. But the curbside, yes, that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing this Christmas season.
Yeah. Let's see. Daywan says in Baltimore, those online pickup spots are taken by in-store shoppers.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a lifesaver. In fact, Mikey did a whole episode on this.
I did a whole episode on that.
Go to Open Mic with OTR Mike. All right. Listen. I know you guys have been asking where the episodes. I know. Look, Mikey will tell you I'm the first person. Okay. I run a tight ship around here. I'm the first person that'll be like, hey, get back to work. But Mikey is busy right now. I'm just letting him do his thing, man. He's coaching right now.
Yeah. Unexpectedly too. Like out of nowhere.
Yes. So stay subscribed. The show will be back. It will be back. But I gotta let Mikey get through this part of the season, man. It's been a lot. I might even go out there a couple weekends and help out. Okay.
Yeah.
But salute to you, man. You're doing a great job with
Appreciate
those kids,
it,
man. But yes, go check out the old episodes because there's a lot of episodes there. Check them out. They're always, and if you check them out already, replay them. Okay? They're always great for a replay. But Open Mic with OTR Mike will be back. All right. And we're going to give you, there you go. And we're going to give you more content on this channel as well. There's a few things that I'm going to be running by Mikey and Brodny coming up here soon. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of boxing stuff going on. We didn't even talk about Charlo, Jermell Charlo. Broke my heart, man. Broke my heart. Can't root for him anymore.
Yeah.
Can't root for him anymore, man. Did you hear the tape?
I didn't. I you know what? When I saw the mugshot and all of that, I just kind of just shook my head at it. I was like, you know what? I don't need this negative energy and hearing any of that. I just left it alone. I read some transcripts about it and all of that, but I just
when I hear these domestic disputes, I'm not quick to judge. And me and B have had these discussions, right? Because man, women lie, right? Like men lie, women lie. You know what I'm saying? You know the phrase. But like women can easily lie, especially when you're having an argument, especially if cheating's involved, right? They'll just make stuff up, right? We saw that happen with Tank Davis, right? Like and people would assume he did it because in the past you saw a video of him grabbing his girlfriend, dragging her out of an event, and you're like, oh, well, he must be that type of person. But he had videos, he had pictures, and actually she was the one assaulting him, right? And she quickly came out and said, no, I didn't, he didn't touch me. He I overreacted, whatever, right? Like sometimes that happens. Sometimes it that's exactly what it is, right? But I'm always for waiting to find out more, right? Like I don't do. I'm not one of those, believe women. I understand where that comes from, but I'm not quick to believe anybody one way or another, right? It's I see these reports and I'm like, all right, well, let's see what else comes out with that. But instantly after that mugshot came out, there's a recording of him talking to one of his friends. I guess one of his friends recorded him laughing about hitting her. You know what I'm saying? And talking about, I can't believe she called the cops. What you talking about? You hit her. You know what I'm saying? I heard that. I was like, yeah, I gotta. I'm done.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. It's been a rough go for that family, man.
Yeah.
It's been a rough go for that family.
He was, man. That was sad. I can't get with that. Sorry. Yeah. And Jamal just came back too. Chris White says, I don't judge people and they domestic stuff, but Charlo had no remorse at all. Exactly. He thought it was a joke. Exactly, Chris. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You got kids. What about your career, her family, her mental? Like that's my thing. Not remorseful about it, right? Things happen sometimes, and things get heated. Okay, fine. But like he laughed about it, Mikey.
This is the thing too with I mean, it's wrong all around, right? But your hands are registered weapons.
Yes.
Okay. So, again, it's wrong all around. But me hitting someone or hitting a woman versus you hitting a woman is totally different. It's all hella wrong. But your hands are registered. You get paid to punch people.
He said something. He said something in the audio like, oh well, she was coming at me like she was big and tough and this and that, and I just hit her and then she called the cops on me like a female. She is a female, right? And let me tell you something, right? Because I'm not for women putting their hands on men either. Like I say it all the time. Like, don't put your hands on anybody, right? Mm-hmm. But damn, man, you got to know how to handle these situations, especially when your hands are registered. Yo, when I was in the military, there was this girl I was talking to, right? And we used to work out together. We used to get up, crack of dawn, and go running on the track. And she was mad competitive though. If I ran 2 miles, she would want to run like 2.5, right? And I got to sit there and wait for her because it was dark. I ain't gonna let her walk back by herself or whatever, right? But she also started boxing. I did a little boxing, right? And one day we're just messing around, and like I was shadow boxing her, right? Like kind of playing with her, slap. She wanted to slap box. I was like, all right, we slap boxing, whatever. I ain't actually hitting her. I gave her a little tap on her cheek. I didn't even slap her, just get a little tap on her cheek, like, and she's like, no, like hit me. This is what she's saying. She's like, hit me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to hit you. Right. And she's like, oh, that's messed up. If I was a dude, you wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm like, yeah, but you're not a dude. You know what I'm saying? And you can't hurt me. So we going to play, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, listen, I don't want my women, you know what I'm saying, thinking they on equal grounds with me in terms of physicality, because you're not. And I don't even want to get into that type of
right. We don't even want to bring it.
Right.
Yeah.
And Charlo, clearly you should know better, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, sad situation. I didn't want to end it on that note, but we had a lot to talk about. We haven't been here in a while, man.
Yeah.
We haven't been here in a while. And there's a lot going on in boxing. Again,
we'll see y'all Tuesday morning.
Mikey, you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I mean, look, I'm off.
Me too.
I'm typically up at that time to go to work. So
yes, you are.
Why not? Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna do it Tuesday morning. Let's find out the time. I'll be up.
I saw somewhere I saw a ring walk at 5:55. Now I hope I'm wrong, but I saw 5:55 a.m. somewhere.
That's probably right. It's probably
And I
right.
could have swore the last two was at like 8. Because I remember
Yeah.
the first one when he fought who'd he fight? Oh, when he
Nonito.
fought
He fought Nonito.
Nonito.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched that in my car at work. And it was like
Mhm.
8:00. But
Yeah.
the other one, I think I was home for the other one. But that wasn't, that was probably about 8, I would think,
I think so.
against my man Cool Boy.
Yeah. I think I went to
Suge,
work after that.
you jumping in because Suge, that's what? Shit. That's 3
Shit.
o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, your time, bro.
Shit will be out. Yeah, 5:55, something like that, man. We'll find out. It's gonna be an early stream. All right. So
Well, the fight, that's the ring walk. So you might not see us till about 7, maybe.
yeah, probably like 7 a.m. You'll just be waking up, you know. If you're off of work, hang out with us. We'll talk about it. Hopefully we get a similar turnout as last time. Not as vitriol as last time. Okay. Those Japanese fans, man, those Inoue fans, they really feel passionate about Inoue. Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't compliment him enough. Okay, so we gotta make sure we bow our heads this time, Mikey.
They didn't like our compliments. They didn't like us saying anything positive about Cool Boy Steph at all. We were supposed to turn our backs on my man.
So for the record, we are both picking Monster Inoue.
Yes.
For this fight.
Yeah.
No, you can't drink any more Ring Kings. That's you reached your limit. Okay.
That was funny shit.
All right, Mikey. We'll get out of here. Thank you, everybody that was in the chat. Let me take care of this since B usually takes care of it. But look, B is he's on vacation. Okay. He told me when he got back from Japan, he said, "Look, I'm still on vacation. All right, so don't call me." All right. I said, "All right, cool. All right." So I'm leaving him be. All right.
But everybody lose my number is what B said.
Yeah. But y'all have a safe and happy holidays. Mike, I'm gonna be talking to you. So, but happy holidays to you and your family. All right. Hope little Mikey gets everything he wants.
Yes. He got everything he wanted.
So do my kiddies, man. And I shake my head every year because I'm like, I remember when we were young, we didn't get everything we want. We had to pick our top 3, of what we really wanted because we're not getting everything on the list. Our kids get everything.
Yeah. Salute to his mama. Like, look, she loves the holidays. So she goes all out. It's up and down for me around this time. This is around. So yesterday was the anniversary of my brother's passing. And then, my mom passed a week after Christmas. So this, this time is a little, but she gets us, back in the mood. And she definitely, handles everything with making Christmas for them great. So I appreciate her. So I'll salute to the wife because messing with me, as you can see, I'm just getting out here today. So, messing with me, he'd be getting some things after Christmas. You know what I mean? But she making sure that they get everything they ask for.
That's good.
Love you too, Shug.
Yeah, man. All right, everybody in the chat, have a great, happy holidays, safe holidays. All right, we will see you guys on Tuesday.
Get your asses up.
Peace.